Monday, February 20th, 2017, 3:45 p.m. I'm finding myself back into research. And we're going to do an n=1 experiment. And I don't know what I'm doing. So I think the best way for me to track my progress, because I'm having a very difficult time doing that, I'll get into that later, is by recording my thought process. So I can go back, ask valuable questions, and then attack the research. So I have adopted the ketogenic diet, and my training method is what we call HIIT, high intensity interval training. I'm doing that, 4 times a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is off, which is active recovery. So I'll do something like go on a hike, take a long walk with my Frenchie. Thursday, Friday, HIIT, and then Saturdays I'm doing an endurance class. These classes are being taught by coaches at a CrossFit gym. I don't know if I'm gonna dabble in CrossFit. Chances are I will, but I think one thing at a time. It's been a long time since I've actually stepped foot into the gym and had goals. And one thing I realized is it's hard to set goals when you really don't know what's going on. So HIIT training, high interval training, and endurance, like what does this really mean? So I'm delving back into the science and asking better questions of myself and figuring out my goals as I go. The ketogenic diet is a tectonic shift in consciousness for me. I mean, as a bodybuilder, I was eating whole foods, real food, which this diet has as well, but the macronutrient ratio is completely different. So my energy are predominantly, I'm getting my energy from fat. Before it was high carbs, then it was highest in protein, carbs, then fats. And every 2 weeks we were taking something out, fats being the first, then the carbs, and where we were bare minimum, and it's really just protein and greens. That's how I think of it. Macros, micros. So where I'm at right now, I hadn't moved my body probably for like 4 or 5 months, and then threw myself into my HIIT training, which I'm already explaining to you guys. 5 days a week, right? 4 days of the HIIT, 1 day endurance. Let's just make it 5 days a week. I'm training high intensity, performance-based endurance classes. And I forgot what I was going to say. Okay, yes. So last week was my first week. And yes, success. I made it in 5 times a week. Today, starting week 2, I'm noticing some issues. And this is really what I need to think about. I have major cramping in my feet. And today, my left hand became really numb and swollen while I was doing a strength move like chest press. My initial reaction after eating or reading everything on keto is the key. It sounds easy, it sounds exciting that you can eat fat, but you have to pay close attention to physiology and how is this changing. Like if you're on a ketogenic diet, you're in ketosis, you have switched your metabolic pathway from using an alternate fuel source to fuel your body, the muscles and the brain, and that's fat instead of glucose. So this changes the physiology and how all your organ systems works, like your kidneys. And from the research and basic human anatomy and physiology, if your kidneys are changing the way they function, your water intake and your mineral fluids and mineral balance need to be monitored closely. So I've been reading and I have found that some of the supplements that you really need to take or pay close attention to is magnesium, potassium, and sodium when you're on a ketogenic diet. So I'm rusty. I am a rusty scientist. This is the point. So I can go back and figure out what I need to research, what questions I need to ask, and stop and really think about my body. So I've been drinking 4 liters of water a day, so that's about a gallon. And I use a Brita filter, so it's filtered water. I don't have any minerals in there. Salt or sodium follows water. So how much water I'm drinking, and I'm paying attention to how often I'm using the restroom, I'm expelling a lot more sodium than I would normally. And I am also used to cooking with no salt. So it can cause water retention, and the way my body was operating as a bodybuilder and my lifestyle then was very, very, very different. So I'm trying to understand how my body is functioning. And right now, salt, I don't really know how I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I did get some supplements. So I got this magnesium by Natural Vitality. It's called Natural Calm, and I need to start supplementing with magnesium. I did read Jeff Volek's book of keto lifestyle. This is of particular interest, your magnesium. Can I tell you why? No, not off the top of my head. So there's that. I mentioned water follows salt. Increase water intake, increase salt expulsion, right? Sodium. So I have offset my mineral balance. Sodium, potassium. Got another one. So I have potassium chloride powder. How do I take it? When do I take it? How much do I take? I don't know. That goes with this one too. I read something, when you're adapting to the ketogenic diet, wait 4 days, but I've kind of been dabbling in this, playing with this for a while now. And there's a period they talk about becoming fully keto adapted takes 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I tested my ketones, and I was at 1.6. So that's in the optimal range of nutritional ketosis. Then I had 2 big bowls of pho, my favorite food, kicked myself out, and then started exercising, physical activity. My ketones the following week were something really, really low, like 0.3. Today I checked, and I was 3.8, which is incredible, but something interesting happened. I woke up this morning and weighed myself, and I was 5 pounds heavier than I have been. I've been maintaining 116, so 116.1 to 116.6 for seriously over a month. Today I decided to weigh myself because I created myself a ketogenic diet plan, which is a whole nother set of questions that I don't really know how to answer right now. And I said, okay, so I'm just going to check my body weight on Monday. Mentally, I like this. It resets everything. So I was 5 pounds up on the scale, 121.1 pounds. And weight is a funny thing, and I don't even want to get into that, but I know not to freak out. Did I really gain water? This is probably water retention. It makes sense. So I've been cramping in my foot. I wake up swollen. I'm 5 pounds heavier on the scale. Something is up. And luckily my supplements showed up today. So that's what I'm going to spend my day researching on, because I don't know what's going on. But what I do know is that, yes, I'm in optimal nutritional ketosis. Like I said, my ketones are at 3.8. So my body is changing. The way it's functioning is changing. My body is being forced to work out, which I haven't done in so long. That creates change. And yeah, I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'll figure it out. That's all you can do, is experiment with yourself. So let's go from there. I also find a challenge, so going back to the diet ratios, it seems easy, right, to say, oh, I'm going to get the majority of my nutrient intake from fat. No. My chicken is swimming in oil. My salt intake is just outrageous to include in the portions that I'm eating. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna be drinking salt water.